I built an OpenClaw Agent for $0. You don't need a massive budget or a server farm to run your own proactive AI agent. If you've got a laptop and 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to leverage OpenClaw and Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite to build a totally free automated workstation. No subscriptions, no hidden costs. This is the ultimate $0 beginner setup for 2026. Before we touch a single line of code, let's look at the blueprint. Everything starts with you sending a command via a channel like Telegram or Discord. The message hits the OpenClaw gateway running on a local system or a remote VPS. The gateway passes the request to the AI brain, which then decides which tools or skills to use, like browsing the web or writing the files, before sending the result back to you. It's a complete loop of automated intelligence. I am demonstrating this on my MacBook using UTM to run a virtual machine. It's hands down the best free way to run Linux on Apple Silicon. But if you're on Windows or a different Linux distro, don't click away. You can follow the same exact steps using VirtualBox, VMware or WSL2. Once you're inside the Ubuntu terminal, the process is 100% identical.
Okay, let's get started. Step 1, the environment. We are using a virtual machine because its Sandbox is our AI agent. This means it can't access any files on your host machine. Now, to download the Ubuntu server ISO image, you need to search for Ubuntu server download and go to the download page. And if you have an Apple Silicon hardware, go to the alternate architectures and download the ARM image. So let's head back to UTM. And now in UTM, create a new virtual machine using the downloaded ISO image. Give it some breathing room, like 6 GB of RAM and 40 GB of storage. Should be plenty enough to keep things running smoothly. I have already installed Ubuntu and will start it. I will create a cheat sheet on steps involved in installing Ubuntu and link it in the description. And let me know if you have any issues in the comment.
Next, we need the brain. Here we would be using the Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite. Why? Because it's incredibly fast at agentic tasks and Google offers free tier which is massive for this model right now. So let's head over to Google AI Studio and go over to the API keys, and here you can create an API key. Just give the name as OpenClaw demo, create key, takes a moment. So now we have the key, we can copy the key and let's keep it in our editor right now. We will use it later when we are onboarding the agent. First, we're setting up SearXNG, a private self-hosted search engine that costs exactly $0 and has no rate limits. It plugs in directly with OpenClaw, giving your agent the ability to browse the web without ever needing a credit card or an external API key. So let's get it running on our Ubuntu VM. To run SearXNG, we would need Docker. And if you haven't installed Docker, you can follow the steps on the Docker docs using a convenience script. With just a few commands, Docker would be up and running. Once the Docker is installed, let's head over to the SearXNG documentation. Here we can find the blueprint of instantly running up a search instance for SearXNG. So first, we would need to create a core config directory. Let's get it at our base. Okay, so we should have right. So now we need to fetch the Docker compose and the environment variable file. Let's fetch those. Now we need to create a copy of the example environment variable file that we just fetched. Okay, now so for SearXNG to work with OpenClaw, we would need to make a small tweak to the settings. So first let's grab their default settings.yaml. and here we need to add support for JSON responses. And let's copy this. As OpenClaw reads in JSON format, so we would need to add support for JSON in SearXNG. So let's, where are we? Okay, so let's go to core config. We need to have the settings YAML over here. YAML, let's create nano. Let's paste this over here and save. Okay, so now our settings YAML is ready. We need to create a secret key for SearXNG. Okay, let's copy this and add it to our environment variable. Okay, let's go back. Now this should be the name for the environment variable. SearXNG secret. So this gets replaced in the settings.yaml. Okay, so this is where it gets replaced. So we can't use the ultra secret key. We need to create our own secret key and have it replaced in the settings.yaml. The environment variable will handle that. So now everything is done. Let's start our Docker container, which is Docker compose up. Now our SearXNG is up and running. That's great. Finally, we will start with the OpenClaw installation, and we can do that with just one command. So this command basically fetches the installer script from the official documentation of OpenClaw, and it does the heavy lifting of installing all the prerequisites and takes it directly to the onboarding process. Now this will just take a few seconds to a minute. Okay, so the installation is done and it has already started the onboarding process. First up, you will see a disclaimer. It's just saying that the OpenClaw is in beta right now and there are security implications. But yeah, we are already running this in a sandbox game, so we can just confidently hit yes. Let's continue. We'll do manual setup. Local gateway should be good. This is the workspace directory wherein all the files for OpenClaw agent would be stored. Let's keep it as default. And now here we need to select Google. And I would hit no because since I already have a Google API key stored in my environment variable, that's why it was asking me. But for your case, it might not. So I'll just get the API key that we have. Okay, so this was the one that we created earlier. Let's paste it here. Okay, by default, it's setting 3.1 Pro model, but we will change the default model in the next step. Okay, so here let's select 3.1 Flash-Lite. So this one has a pretty good free tier. Let me just show you the rate limits that it has. Rate limits for 3.1 Flash-Lite. Okay, so here if you see, so it has 15 requests per minute, 250,000 tokens per minute, and 500 requests per day, which are plenty enough to just play around with OpenClaw. So let's skip the gateway port as default. Let's keep it at loopback. Gateway token. So auth token. So this token will be used when you're logging into the OpenClaw UI. Generate. Okay, so let's keep it blank. It will automatically generate for you. Let's configure the chat channels now. we will go with Telegram. It's the easiest one to start with. Okay, we need to create a Telegram bot and paste the token over here. So let's enter Telegram bot token. Okay, let's start Telegram now. Now in Telegram, you can just search for a bot further. So from here, you can create a new bot. Just type new bot. Now you need to give a name to this bot. Let's give OpenClaw Demo Vivek. Okay, so now we need to give a username for this bot. Let's give OpenClaw Demo Vivek bot. This username should end with underscore bot. So now our bot is created. So this is the API key that you need to, bot token that you need to copy and then just paste it over here. Now the Telegram bot is linked with your OpenClaw, and let's hit finish because we already have done with Telegram. So now let's configure the DM access policies. So in this step, we would add the users who would have access to send messages to this OpenClaw agent. We can do this with allow list. So let's hit allow list, and then you can add your Telegram account's user ID. Just go to user info bot, and here you can get your user ID. Just copy that user ID over here and paste it, and done. Our Telegram account is linked. So let's select SearXNG because we have already set up an instance of it. Okay, so HTTP, where is localhost 8888. So 8888 is the default port on which the SearXNG listens. Configure skills now. So there are a lot of default skills available, as well as there are a lot of community created skills on CloudHub, which you can go through. These are definitely very useful, and be careful when adding some community created skills which can have some security risk. I will skip it for now. No Notion key, no OpenAPI key, no 11 labs. And then we will install the SearXNG plugin. Okay, let's hit enter. Let's enable the hooks. Let's enable everything. Okay, let's install the gateway service. No, okay, the gateway service is installed. It will start up in a few seconds. Okay, let's open it in web UI. All right, so our gateway is up and running, and our OpenClaw agent is ready. So here you can do a bunch of things. This is the main chat area, and then you can look at our usage, like how many messages you send, how many tokens, average tokens is being costing for you for message. You can check the costs also, and you can tweak a bunch of configs over here. Also, you can see for the logs, all the logs will be collected over here, so you can monitor it over here. The agent starts with a totally blank personality, and when you type the first message, it will ask to give him a personality and then how the agent needs to behave. Now we need to give the agent a personality. I have already created prompt which gives like best results. I can share that video and I will just use that right now. So this is the prompt that I would be using. I'm Vivek and you're my personal AI assistant, Claw AI. Your role is to be concise and direct, conduct thorough research, and provide honest, critical feedback, challenging my ideas when necessary rather than simply agreeing. So let's give this role to the agent. So we have a response from our agent now, and it did a bunch of things. There were like several tool calls that it made, and it just wrote a few things in the identity.md file, and then user, and then soul. So yeah, so now the role is created for this agent. Let's see the core files that our agent just updated. These are the files that our agents would refer to every time when it's processing a new message. Soul and identity is the core of our assistant. Soul defines the agent's fundamental values and its ethics, while the identity defines its personality. This is where you decide if your assistant is a professional researcher, a witty assistant, or a focused developer. As you can see over here, all the things that we sent in the previous message, everything is updated in the soul and then the identity files. The agents.md file. Think of it as your agent's runbook. It can specify things like how to route the task, when to query the memory, which tools it needs to use, and what security rules it needs to follow. That way, you don't have to re-explain your workflows or constraints every time to the agent. You just write those rules once in the agents.md, and the agent loads up those instructions every time in the prompt. Next, tools.md. This is the agent's capability list. It's a map of everything the agent can do, like browsing the web or managing your files in the VM. The user.md file, it's all about you. This is where the agent learns about your preferences, your goals, and your workflows. It's what makes the assistant personal rather than generic. The heartbeat file, this is the pulse of the system. It tracks the agent's health, current task, and the activity logs. And finally, memory. This is a long term storage. Instead of forgetting about what you said yesterday, the agent maintains a memory of all your past conversations over here. It uses this file to store important facts and context, so it can actually get smarter the more you use it. Initially, the memory file is blank, so we will ask the agent to maintain the memory, like short term and long term memory separately, so that it uses the memory efficiently. So, this is the prompt that I would use. And now, let's send a message over Telegram. This is maintain a clear separation between short-term and long-term memory. Double distinct memory structures. For each request, load memory selectively and efficiently. Only retrieve information that is directly relevant to the current context. And prioritize cost efficiency by minimizing unnecessary memory access and avoiding redundant data loading. And strictly adhere to all the security instructions at all times. They must never be ignored. Let's send this message. Alright, so now going forward, our agent would efficiently store the memory. Now I'm going to give this agent a real research task to go out on web, read full articles, and synthesize everything into a structured knowledge base. Not just one answer, but multiple files in a mini repository. I've already created a prompt for that, which I would use right now. So this is the prompt that I would be using. I will have this prompt in the cheat sheet, so you would have access to this. So here I had asked my agent to research on topic how AI agents are transforming the software development in 2026. So I have the response. So let's go over the response, what it has come up with. So seems like our agent had some issues with the web search tool, and I did some digging and I figured out that I had misconfigured our SearXNG during the onboarding process. I gave a incorrect port number. So let's fix that. So before that, let's just show it to you. So our SearXNG Docker container is running on 8080 port. So let's fix our OpenClaw. Yep. So this command will allow us to tweak the configs. Okay. Local. Yes. SearXNG. So now let's give http localhost colon 8080. Yes. Okay. So let's restart. Let's restart it now. Let's try it again. I have fixed the web search tool. Can you try again? Okay, let's see. Okay, so it says the web search tool is successfully communicating. Okay, it's coming up with the responses. Alright, so our agent says it has come up with our research and it has created some files in our workspace directory. Let's go and check it out. So in our OpenClaw workspace, okay, it has created all the files in the base level. Let's ask him to create a separate directory and move all those files. Can you create a new directory called AI research and move all these files to that directory? And going ahead, uh, every file relate every file related to this task should go in this directory. Okay, all right, so looks like it has created this AI resource directory and it has moved all those files. Awesome. So yeah, we have it here. We have our research over here. Let's see use cases. Okay, autonomous coding pipeline, enterprise team automation, and there you have it, a fully functional, a proactive AI agent with absolutely $0 in expenses. You now have the perfect sandbox to play around with OpenClaw and see what's possible and understand its architecture. In the next video, I will show you how to stack up multiple skills, give your agent full browser control, and create multi-agent orchestrations. So hit like and subscribe if this was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next one.